Greetings, fellow children in time and space. This is your host, TheAmariaShadow, and welcome back to another installation of Answers from the TARDIS. It's actually been a while since I've last done Answers from the TARDIS, and it feels good coming back to a regularly recorded video. As you can see, I just completed the main my first playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I am just chilling in the chapter selection screen. So I wanted to talk about my thoughts of the game before I do anything else with this, because what I have planned may interest you all. So first off, let me talk about my thoughts about this game. All in all, I can't say one negative thing about this game. That's a first. I can't say, well, let me be blunt. I did have some issues where the camera was stuck in certain positions whenever you're trying to attack, because it's like when you're in the middle of an attack string, you can't move the camera and it's locked in one position, so it got hard to actually be able to see everything that I wanted to see at the time. But that didn't really bother me that much. I got used to it. But all in all, this game was phenomenal. The graphics were great. The music was great. The story, albeit being a 23-year-old game. 23-year-old game. This game introduced so many new elements that made it a whole new experience. Already, just from two things alone that showed up in the last chapter and a couple of chapters before this, I was like, that's different, that's different, that's different. And those things would be that not only Wedge survived the plate falling, Biggs survived the plate falling. Biggs survived! And I don't understand how that is even possible! Biggs was on the pillar! He was on the pillar! There was no way he could have survived that fall! But he did! He's chilling out in the Sector 5 slums as an orphanage. And I'm just trying to figure out, okay, who in Sector 5 knew to go and find Biggs and found him and allowed him to recuperate in that orphanage? I want to know, because that just means maybe, just maybe, all of the members of the original team, original Avalanche may still be alive. Jesse may still be alive as well. In the original game, all three were thought to have perished. But with this, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, because we know that Wedge is alive, apparently, unless that one incident in Chapter 17 may have changed things, because with the Arbiters of Fate, or the Whispers as they're called, it did sound like Wedge was pushed out of a window, but it is entirely possible that he's still alive. Biggs is alive, and that is like, that makes me a little happy, because in this game we built up a relationship with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse way more than we originally did in the original game. Another thing that interested me was, of course, the final boss fight. And for those that don't seem to understand what the final boss fight was, it's kind of obvious by this time. It was, of course, the fight against Sephiroth. And honestly, I'm kind of glad they did make it where we had to fight Sephiroth, because there was two fights that didn't originally happen in, well, there was a lot of fights that didn't originally happen in the original game, but all of the enemies that we came across were partially there in the original game. But two fights that did not happen in the original game specifically was the fight against Genova and the fight against Sephiroth. Because Sephiroth did not physically show up until we were in Junon, if I'm correct. Yeah, he didn't show up until Junon, which means we were crossing the sea to get over to Costa del Sol and, of course, the Gold Saucer area around that time. We didn't see him until then, and that's where our first fight against Genova happened. So it makes me wonder, when we get into the second part of this game, exactly how big is this part going to be? My guess is that it might stretch all the way up to the Nibelheim reactor. It might stretch up to there. If not, I don't know. I mean, we don't know what Square has planned. All in all, I did enjoy this game. Part of me was like, take it with a bit of a grain of salt and try not to get too excited with it. But I guess in all honesty, that was kind of going to be hard to do considering I played Final Fantasy VII. And I've talked about this multiple times on my channel. It took me up to 13 years. 13 whole years to play the original game. 13 years. I had a string of bad luck with the original game. First copy got stolen, second copy got broken, third copy got stolen, got a PS3 and got it digitally, but my entire PS3's hard drive went bad, and it completely wiped my information, and I was unable to access that account anymore for some odd reason. So I had to make it another account, which is the account that I'm using right now, to play games again. Then I bought it for my first PSP. And that's when I officially completed the game. I was in middle school by that time. And that says a lot. But, yeah. This game was something else. It was really something else. However, there is one thing that I did like more than anything. It was definitely the final boss fights in this game against the Arbiter as well as Sephiroth, and how they showed little snippets of visions of things that made up the Final Fantasy lore for Final Fantasy VII. We saw parts of Advent Children. We saw parts of Crisis Core. And that just made me so happy, considering that out of all things Final Fantasy VII, the only things I ever really played was the original Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, and I have a copy of Advent Children just sitting on my dresser right nearby me. I always keep it in sight because I love that movie. But it was nice to see that they introduced all those aspects to it. And it makes me wonder, will they introduce even more? Because the one thing, well, there's a couple of things that I never really got to experience that dealt with Final Fantasy VII, like before Crisis, as well as Dirge of Cerberus. But it makes me wonder if they'll introduce anything from those things as well. If they do, that'll make this game phenomenal. Because they'll be introducing so much lore that so many people grew to love about Final Fantasy VII into this game. Now, granted, a lot of people believe that, have mixed feelings about the ending of the game, showcasing some flashbacks of Zack Fair at the very end. And I myself, I don't agree to that, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't agree to the people who disagree with the ending. I don't agree. I believe it kind of touched home with a lot of people who experienced the original Final Fantasy VII mythos. So it was nice for them to give us that connection to Zack Fair, the original soldier that pretty much put Cloud on the path that he's on. I absolutely loved that. Now, before I end this answer from the TARDIS, I do want to say this. I will be playing a hard mode run of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Granted, after seeing all the things that they've put up saying that I have to do in order to actually run this, like I won't have access to my items, that's going to terrify me. Because as we saw in my playthrough, items were my quick save. I need my items. But I'm going to try nonetheless. Because they gave us some other bonuses. Like the fact that with the hard mode difficulty and the next playthrough, we'll get bonus experience and AP. Which means my materia and my experience will be getting even better during the next run through. And I hope you guys will enjoy this run through. Because I'm doing this for you. Well, let me be real. I'm doing this for myself as well as for you guys. Because I want to see if it's actually possible to play through this on hard mode. At least for me. Because after everything I dealt with in this entire game, this game was no joke on normal mode. So hard mode, I've got to be up to... I need to get to another level of playstyle in order to actually surpass this game. And look at this. This also shows all the things that are left to collect. Like this, for example. Chapter 6. I'm actually a little sad that I actually messed up on this chapter. Because the Chocobo and Moogle materia is actually able to be found here. I did not know that. I completely missed it. Because apparently, Barrett gives you cues for when you are near the materia. He'll hum the Chocobo theme, apparently. I did not know that. But now that I do, I need to keep my eyes out for it. But yeah, that is the plan. I plan on doing a full playthrough on hard mode on my channel of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I hope everyone enjoys that. But for today, I've done all I can with it. I'm actually a little bit disappointed that the last part of the game was blocked, but it was kind of expected. Because that is the last part of the game. Because once you get to chapter 18, the entire chapter is blocked. And there's nothing I could do about that. This is where I wish I had a computer and a capture card so I could actually showcase all of this to you guys. But I'm a broke guy. I'm very broke. So there's only so much I could do. Maybe someday I'll be able to showcase everything a game has in store for us. If Sony takes out that little tidbit about blocking cutscenes. I really, really wish they do, because that is a very annoying thing about the PS4 and the share function. But that's what I have to deal with. But yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy the hard mode. I'm going to enjoy it. It'll definitely be starting on Monday, because I'm going to take Sunday to just relax. So I am going to continue this by going directly into the hard mode on Chapter 1. And the beautiful thing about it is that all of our weapons and materia that we got in our first playthrough is transferable. So it's like I can still keep going with everything I had. So it's not going to be that hard. I'm only guessing that the difficulty of the enemies will hit a little bit harder. That's what I'm expecting. Man, oh man. Still after playing this entire game, this scene still gets me. I mean, in the end, Final Fantasy VII is going to be Final Fantasy VII, so everything's going to grab your attention right from the start. Excuse me, you have the Buster Sword. Where's my weapon?
Get down here, Merc.
Oh, there it is. Never mind. I keep forgetting. The train part is actually a cutscene. This is the actual game. Anyway, we're not going to go any further than right here, and I'm going to save on another save file. I'm actually rewriting the save file because I messed up on that. And I'm going to end the video here. So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out Mother Roy's page by click a link in the description below to help her achieve her dream of being Makaka. Believe me, Christian too, you won't be disappointed. And of course, don't forget to click that bell button if you wish to be notified of whenever I upload a video or a live stream to my channel. And as always, this is your host, TheAmariaShadow, saying along Z, and I'll see you for the next adventure. Goodbye, everyone!